Who here likes cookies? My personal favorite is homemade chocolate chip cookies. And I hope after today's presentation, you might try making some for yourself. My name is Michael Hotchkiss, and I've been making homemade cookies for many years now, and I feel as though I have a delicious recipe for a scrumptious sweet treat that tastes way better than the grocery store cookies. Today, I'll be discussing how easy cookies are to make, what ingredients you need to make them, and how to bring them together into a cookie. So, before we get started with our ingredients, I'm going to go over to my oven and I'm going to make sure it's preheating to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that the oven's taken care of, I can come back over to the ingredients. Now, I have a dry ingredient bowl and a wet ingredient bowl. For our wet ingredients, we're going to use 2 eggs, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 sticks of butter. Now, a secret I like to do for the butter is I like to whip it ahead of time after it's softened on the counter for a little bit, and then that gets a nice fluffy consistency to the cookies. Now that we've mixed all those together, now we can come over to our dry ingredients. We're going to add 2.5 cups of flour. Now, when measuring out our ingredients, it's really important you measure up to the very tippity top of the measuring cup. This way, you get a nice consistent recipe across your instances of making cookies. So once we've added our 2.5 cups of flour, we need to sift it. And that's just a quick sift in our sifter. Then from there, we add 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. The baking soda is really important because that's what makes the cookies rise. And again, it's really important that you level it off and get it to the very top of the measuring spoon. Then, once you have those two, all your dry ingredients together, you can take your wet ingredients, which you would mix together with your mixer, and this is really loud, so I'm going to turn it on for just 1 moment. And then you're going to add your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients. Now, as you add your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients, it's very important that you scrape the sides, because this way, all the ingredients will come together into a uniform and consistent dough. Then, once you have your dough made, it's now time for the important part, the chocolate chips. I like to go a little heavy on the chocolate chips with about 3 cups. Then, once that is thoroughly distributed throughout your cookie dough, it's time to get your cookie sheets. And it's really important that you use parchment paper because otherwise the cookies will stick to the cookie sheet. Now, I like to do about 1 to 2 inch dollops of cookie dough, and you can typically fit about 10 to 12 per cookie sheet, depending on the size of the cookie sheet. And then, from there, I like to get some coarse sea salt, and I like to grind it on top. And that you can kind of do just to your own, you can experiment with it and figure out what you like to do. I think it brings out a lot of the sweetness, and you get that sweet and salty taste to the cookies. And then, once you have all the salt on top of your cookies, you can go ahead and put them into the oven. Now, once they go in the oven, you can keep them in there for about 8 to 10 minutes, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. I like to go for a nice golden brown on the cookies, and that usually can yield a pretty good result. Once you take them out, I highly encourage enjoying them with a glass of milk, and also make sure to let them cool on a cooling rack, or else you're likely to burn yourself. Thank you for your time. I hope today I've been able to discuss for you how to make a delicious chocolate chip cookie, and I hope you might try it for yourself, and I hope I've shown you how easy they are to make. Thank you for your time.